Hello, friends. Hello, hello. My name is Janessa Ori. I'm the head of community here at Sell with Amy, and I am excited to be able to be here live. So, I had some technical challenges, so I'm a few minutes late. My apologies for that. But I wanted to walk through one of our more basic features, or one that doesn't necessarily get the spotlight very often. I want to walk through the benefits of the Contacts tab. So the Contacts tab, you can find it. Let me point to the right spot. Down here, Contacts tab, it's dashboard, then contacts. So if you select that, you have all of your contacts. Now, these contacts come from a variety of sources potentially. One, you can import your entire phone book from your phone. Okay, so if you don't want your home warranty insurance company phone number, but it's stored in your phone contacts, don't import from your phone contacts. Now, some friends do that because they're getting up and running and they want to get the contacts in. Totally fine. I just want to let you know that that's one way to get contacts in. Another way is if your company has partnership, if your company has partnered with Sell with Amy, contacts will come from your back office, from orders that have been placed, so forth and so on. If you are with a company that has partnership with Amy, congratulations. We have many friends here that are likely a little jealous that you have that partnership. But if you're one of those lucky ducks, then you have those contacts come from your back office or your workstation, depending on what you phrase it. And then you also have the ability to manually add contacts. So you can do that if you look in the upper right-hand corner, you can select add and you can enter all the information. I'm going to leave this screen up for a minute so we can talk about what information can be entered into Amy, because even if your company has partnership, it's likely that all this information is not actually housed or it comes over from your back office or workstation. So this is all the information you can enter, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Other spots that you can get contacts in from is you can upload a CSV. A CSV is a different way to store information. Typically, most people take an Excel spreadsheet, they convert it to a CSV, and then they can upload it. I will make sure after this live to drop the instructions on how to upload a CSV into Amy. I'll drop those in the comments after. That's part one. The other thing you can do, and that's helpful if you have a list, if you've been working from an Excel list for all the time that you've been in business, and you want to get those contacts into Amy, whether it be your team contacts, whether it be those that are interested but never maybe purchased, whatever. If you want to get a group of individuals, and you can do so via CSV uploading. You can also send a link to your customers or prospective customers, particularly for those that do events. Maybe it's booths, maybe it's parties for our party plan friends. Anybody you run into, maybe you give a sample, you can have your contacts actually enter their information for you. They are going to fill out more information, and it looks very similar to this actually. They're going to fill out more information than you would ever gather from them. And it means that they're doing the data entry for you. So if you used to do like paper contact slips, then you would go ahead and take that stack and set it on your desk. And if you were really good, you would enter all that information in a timely manner. And if you're like most of us, I'm speaking from my past experience. At times I would have like stacks of or worse, they would like sit in an envelope, right? Stacks of contact slips, paper slips with people's demographic information or contact information that they gave me to reach out to them, but the data entry was a little bit overwhelming. You can also you can have your contacts fill out their information for you. Of course, again, you can manually add that information. So let's talk about what's stored within the contact. Let's talk about the information that can be stored. Now, this is if you were to add a contact manually. Okay, maybe we'll add one for funsies right now. But you can add a contact manually. This information is the same information that we present to anybody in the contact form. Again, I'll drop down some links after I'm live because it's hard to do it while I'm live on how to utilize the contact form as well. But let's go ahead and we are going to do, I am going to do this. We're going to do cheesy, I'm making stuff up, frond. You know, like the little plant, a frond. And we're going to do cheesy@gmail.com. Okay, so clearly this is made up information. Please don't go emailing this individual. Let's say that I did not enter a phone number. That's totally okay. We have an email. You have to have one form of contact, meaning it can't just be the name and like that's it, right? You can't create a contact without having a way to reach out to the contact. Why do we do that? Because we don't want you to enter empty data. If you have a name in there and you know this person, maybe you know them from the school pickup line or something to that effect, and you don't have any way to actually reach out to them, you have to have a way to reach out to them to enter them into AMI, because the purpose is to house the information for you, right? So we're just going to do this and we're going to say it's coming up. Okay. And then at cheesy or just cheesy and cheesy. You can see I'm very creative here. You can enter an address or not, and we're going to go ahead and hit save. Now that this contact has been created, we have a few things here and ready to go. You can actually see their name. If you ever want to edit, let's say that they actually reached out and gave me their phone number, I could always add their phone number here, or if they filled out their contact form after this is already in here, Amy's really smart, recognizes, hey, we have two cheesies here, so we're going to go ahead and add the phone number to the existing contact. Now, that is if you mistype, maybe I only did one S here or one E here, and when they typed it, there was only there were two E's or something to that effect. Point is, if something's different, Amy will not actually automatically merge that information. If it's not, then it will say, oh yeah, hey, we already have one of those. Let's just fill in the missing information, okay? So you can see, because we've entered information into Cheesy's account, Cheesy's a customer prospect and not yet a customer. Now, I'll come back to that in a minute. You can see the ways that I can reach out to Cheesy. I can reach out via Instagram, Messenger, email. If there was a phone number, I'd be able to text. So we don't show you the ways that are not listed. Example being, there's not a phone number, so I can't text Cheesy at this point in time. I can reach out in all of these ways. Now, then we give you a timeline. Currently, Cheesy was just added. We don't know what's going on. You can, once you add a purchase, then you can actually go ahead and you'll start to see a timeline. And this up here will change from a customer prospect to a customer. Let me give you an example of this. So we're going to open up Andy. Andy here you can see is a customer because there's been a purchase down here. Okay. And you can see the other things, the nice thing about having someone in here with data populated, you can see all the ways I can reach out to Andy. You can see the last time that you contacted. You can see, you can even add, this is one of my favorite features. You can actually add some other interesting things. So obviously we think that Andy would be a great host prospect, but you can also add custom labels. Now this is a pro feature. If you're on trial, you can add some additional custom labels. If you are on our starter plan, you can add one custom label and you have the ability to filter by these. So let's say that I wanted to find the connectors, okay? And Andy has introduced me to other individuals. That's what I meant when I entered connectors in here. It just has to make sense to you. It doesn't have to make sense to everybody unless you're me demonstrating it to you. And in that case, it would make sense to explain what a connector is. So I created this random turn connectors, probably because I wanted to use that fun little emoji. And now I have the ability to reach out to those that I know are connectors. So if I have something new I want to share, I can filter by connectors and then reach out to those individuals about what I want them to connect people about. Maybe there's something new I want them to share, or I want to share it with them and see if there's any interest. Maybe they want to host an event or a party, right? You can see how this is going. I want to check the comments really quick because I've been ignoring it as I've been on this random tangent. While I'm checking comments, if you're logging in live, please say hello. Let me know where you're chiming in from, number one, so we can talk about weather. That's typically why I ask where people are from. And then if you're watching what we like to call our hashtag after party or our replay, please let me know also where you're chiming in from. Drop that in the comments. I would love to be able to say hello to you if you're here live, and then of course connect with you after the fact if you're watching the replay. So we have Myra and Donna and Tracy. Tracy loves contacts. That's awesome. Cynthia's saying, any word on fixing the bug that keeps happening so we can get rid of weird underling. Cynthia, I am unsure on what bug you're speaking of. I do want to state, and this is a good opportunity to share here, our support team is incredible and they are real life people. So when you write to them, please know that they are not bots. But they're real life people and they connect with our engineering teams and the teams that fix any bugs. And we definitely, if there's a bug that's been written in about, those two teams handle that. I have less visibility, in all honesty, than I had in like many years ago, just because our team's grown. And so they handle those things. That said, I presume that you have already written into our support channel or our support email, and you can do that by emailing support at amy.co, co, not com. And when you do that, they actually log all of those. I'm sorry, I'm going to come back to that because I'm dying, Kathy. I'll explain in a minute. So they, and this is a serious topic, so I don't want to laugh, but I saw a funny comment. So what happens is when you write into them, they look at it, they research it, they triage it, they connect with our engineering teams, one of our engineering teams, and they look into the ability to make fixes. So if there's a bug outstanding, I'm confident that there's documentation on it. I just don't know what it is to be able to give you an update. So let me go back to Kathy. Kathy said, she said she's chiming in and she said she's in misery. I mean, Missouri. And it made me laugh and it was rather funny. Albuquerque in the snow. Peggy's in the snow. We don't have snow where I live, which is by design. I'm in Northern California. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, for those that don't know. And she says, I haven't started using this yet. Clientele is small, but it looks very interesting. So here, Angie, I'm going to share with you, and this is going to be apparently a longer live than I intended, but that's okay because I think that's a really great conversation to have, especially for those that are just starting their business. If you're just getting started with your business and you can count on one hand how many contacts you have or connect with or have purchased from you, that's a great spot to be in. One, because it's still small and manageable. The challenge is you want to be able to provide really incredible customer service to your 5 customers, right? And there's a reason that we call our starter plan starter, because you're getting started. You don't have so many contacts that you can't remember all the things that I'm showing you on this screen right now. So for example, Andy's a customer. If he's one of my 5, I know he's a customer. I would love to have him have a party if I'm in a party plan. I know he's a connector. I know he's going to Palm Springs for spring break. That's a message or note that I left. But as your clientele grows substantially, all this information, you can't keep all of it in your brain, okay? Especially if you're dealing with things like, now I don't have any examples here, but for those who have products that have different shades, for example, thinking of a makeup company. If you have a foundation color and someone says, I need a refill, and you can't remember what color their skin is, you're not going to like guess and have them just buy some other one. You can look back and see it here in your timeline really quickly and easily. So that way you can make sure that they aren't going to end up with something that doesn't match, right? So if you're just getting started and you start here, for my friends who have been in their business for a long time and maybe lived without Amy and then started using Amy, I'd love for you to chime in. Amy allows this information to be at your fingertips anywhere you bring your phone. Most people, that's everywhere. And the nice thing about this is it's going to prompt you to get your customer service up to like top notch, even with those 5 customers from the very beginning. So we encourage you to reach out 2 days, 2 weeks, and 2 months after the purchase. You can modify the timelines on that. And if you get started when your clientele is small, it means that as your clientele grows, they're going to continue to expect that level of customer service, and your business will grow substantially faster. So I'm seeing this. Excellent. Okay, good. And consistent follow-up. There's tons of snow in Kansas and still coming down. My daughter wants to live in the snow and I keep laughing at her. Hello, Verna from the Pacific Northwest and Raleigh, North Carolina, Minnesota. Lots of things. Makes sense. Thank you, Cynthia, for asking the question on the bug. Okay, I think I've caught up. Whoop, I have another one. Becky says, Amy makes it so easy to stay organized, not to forget to follow up, and you can label your customer based on their interest, and it will be easier to search when a new product comes out. And that's just something that will grow more and more. So for those team leaders or those that are in leadership, watching this, then maybe you've been using AMI for a long time. Maybe you used AMI and then sort of let it sit on the shelf. I want to share with you that if you get your newbies started with AMI in the first, like within the first month of them joining, it won't be as overwhelming because they won't have the massive clientele. When you jump in after you've been in your business for 3 months and maybe you just want to grow your business and you jump in, it becomes a little bit more overwhelming just because you have more to manage, right? You're growing your business. And I started to allude to this, but I'll go back to it. Amy's starter plan has 10 reach outs per month because if you have a small customer base, we want you to be able to get that level of customer service up really high with your small handful of clientele. And then as your business grows, you will quickly and easily recognize that the investment for AMI Pro is actually it's an investment because it means that you don't have to work as hard to pull up all these details and to reach out at the appropriate intervals and to continue to offer that level of service. And I'm here to say that AMI Pro is, and no matter where you are in the world, no matter your currency, AMI Pro, we've priced it really competitively to make it so you have the ability to increase your commissions and income without necessarily taking a huge bite out of it. You don't have to be an executive level leader to be able to afford AMI Pro, and that's done on purpose. Okay, so we talked about the contacts here. Last thing I want to highlight is actually, sorry, I'm wrong. There's two more things. One is we can sort by, you can sort by all these options. There's so many options. First name A to Z, last name A to Z, Z to A. As somebody who had my maiden name was towards the end of the alphabet, and so I was always last. And so it's nice to be able to sort also by Z to A. Most recently added. So your newbies, if you added somebody and you can't remember who it was, you can easily select most recently added. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. And you can see Cheesy is right up top. Why that name came to me, I don't know. And then I wanted to select, I did it before I talked about it. I want to highlight here. You can also select on filter. So you can filter and you have the ability, if you filter by categories, which genuinely it's my favorite, right? You can filter by notes, like if we did spring break, we would pull up Andy for sure. Or by location, if you're doing a drop off in a town like 2 over, you can pull up location and then reach out to those that are in that location and see if there's anything that they want before you drive 2 towns over, for example. Birthdays, so if you have some sort of birthday club, you can always reach out to your probably a little late for February birthdays, but maybe not. But you could also reach out to March birthdays and say, is there anything on your list that I can share with your friends or significant others or children to be able that you want for your birthday? You know, you can connect with individuals based on their birth date, when they last purchased, when you last contacted. And here's one that's interesting. If you've not actually categorized anyone, you can go ahead, you can see I did show uncategorized contacts. It'll say no contacts found. These are like that insurance company that I was saying, if you upload your phone book and they don't have any categories listed, it'll show them there. All my people have categories, so there's no contacts found. I'm back to 27. And then show contacts missing all contact information, because we recognize that some people get in there before we had, or in a way that does not require. If you upload a CSV and there's no contact information, you can find those individuals and then you can reach out to them and offer them the contact form. Okay. This is a packed one. I'm sorry, friends. I really didn't intend to have this much fun. Lastly, I selected categories. So this looks just like what we saw when we were selecting categories for Andy, right? So I have the ability, if I want to pull up all the customer prospects, people who have not yet purchased from me, I can easily do that by selecting customer prospect, hitting apply. I can see there's only 3 people in my little demo situation here that are customer prospects. If I wanted to look at customers, of course, I could do that. If you select them both, it will bring anybody that is a customer or a customer prospect. And then if you were doing some recruiting, you can bring up your recruit prospects. So if you want to filter through here and then touch base with them, how are you doing? These teams in recruiting also they also will generate to-dos in the app. So they'll generate tasks related to recruiting, for example, if you select a recruit prospect. If you are a team leader and you have, if you have team member and level 1, we're going to encourage you to reach out to your downline that are listed only as level 1 3 times a month. Beginning of the month to say, have you set your goals? I'm really excited for the month. Middle of the month, right about now, to say, hey, I wanted to reach out to you and see how you're doing in relation to your goals. Is there anything you need from me? And then we also encourage you to reach out towards the end of the month, and that is to encourage the last minute push to make sure that they've achieved their goals, right? If not, you can brainstorm at any of those points to be able to connect with your downline to make sure that they're on the right track and they're doing what they want to do to meet their goals, right? Helps you be a leader. Because if they don't know their goals and you don't know their goals, they might as well not have goals, right? So using Amy, we ask goals at the beginning of the month, every month. And then you can see we've got some other options here. And then these are those custom labels. So you can set as many of these as you want. Okay. There are specific examples. If you're in like jewelry, you can cite who likes gold, who likes silver. If you are in scent, who likes floral, who likes bakery type, like food smelling scents. My husband likes those. I like not those because then I'm just hungry all the time. Anyway, you can see how you can use these custom labels. And I would love for my friends who have set up custom labels, share how you have done that in the comments. Okay, so now I'm looking at questions because I'm back here. This is a good topic. I'm excited, even though it's going longer than I like to keep these trainings. It's all good. Does the filter include custom labels? Yes, it sure does. I scroll down and you can see it there, and you can see how you might be able to use that. Hello from Central Illinois. Hello, hello. I love the options to use Amy with your scent of the month samples that she sends out monthly. So her company has something new every month and she sends samples out for that. The follow-up is priceless and took me over the $2,000 a month mark. That's incredible, Peggy. So that's an example. She uses these custom labels. She uses the ability to send out samples to her customers and then follows up on them to be able to get the purchases, and it definitely took it up. Beth is new to this, joined Star at the start of this year, this new year. This is all new to you. So that's why we're doing it, right? So every week, I want to preface, we used to do these lives in our Facebook community, which was a private community. We changed, I don't remember when, friends, it's been a long time. We moved them to this public Facebook business page, and then we also broadcast them over on, or we upload them over onto our YouTube channel. And the reason we did that is because we realized that people were sharing, and then the people that they were sharing them with weren't able to see it because they weren't in that private Facebook community. We want to be able to walk through different aspects of the app and talk about how people are using the app for their business. And so oftentimes I will do sort of a refresh of an old, not an old feature, but a feature that we haven't talked about in a while. So for example, today we're talking through contacts and filtering and what's available in contacts and how that information is relevant. You can set a note, you can follow up from a note. It'll prompt you to do a to-do or a follow-up from there. And let's see. There's a question, and she says, is there a way I can charge shipping and creating my invoice? I'm with a partner company. Invoices, you can charge shipping, and but it depends on, there's a couple of things. This is a great question for our support team because some individuals cannot invoice within their partnered companies. Some can. It just depends on the company. And so this is a great question for our support team. That said, if I were to, for example, create an invoice, let me see if I can do that. I don't know that I have products on here. Record an order. We're going to see. Yes. Okay. So if I were to do this, I'm just going to manually record an order really quickly, and I'm going to select checkout. So when I select checkout, it's creating an invoice. Okay. Now I can record a payment if someone paid me in cash, and that way I have documentation on their timeline of this purchase. I can charge a card if I have a swiper and their card in hand. Otherwise, I can send an invoice. I am going to go ahead and copy that. And I'm going to, please hold while I do this. I'm going to open that up. I wasn't prepared to do this. This is why. Okay. Here we go. So that I'm just opening up the invoice that was just generated. It was just copying a link. You can see here that this is the invoice, and in this situation you can see all the ways that are set up to pay me. Credit card goes through Square, Venmo, PayPal Me, Cash App, okay? If you don't use these for whatever reason, maybe you don't use these, yeah, again, for whatever reasons, or you don't use Square, they won't show up, okay? So if you send somebody, if you don't have some sort of payment set up, then they can't pay you. For our friends that are in Canada and don't do these payment options, if they select contact me, that's actually their that's actually it pops open the email and has your email address as the two, so they can use that. That was fun. But going back to it, sorry, and I was very excited in showing, to answer the question, can you edit? Yes, you can. We can edit here. We can edit invoice here and complete. And then you have the ability to view the invoice, edit upper right hand corner. That's what I'm looking for. You can see my sales tax is saved. You can save, you don't have to. You can add shipping, for example. You can add a discount. Maybe you said a 10% discount. Follow all your policies and procedures as always, of course, friends. And you can add any other fees that will be listed as other fees. You can always update that. So maybe I wanted to do 10, let's say subtract amount. Maybe I want to do $5 off. Update. And you can see there's the discount of $5 off. Okay. So, and then you would just send the invoice. You can copy it and go from there. Okay. I hope that answers questions. Again, this was much longer than I intended. And so I am going to wrap this very, very quickly. Okay. Thanks so much for joining me today. Like I said, I promised some links and I will be dropping those links in the comments of both here on Facebook Live at the business page is Sell with Amy, and I will also drop those in the comments or in the description of the YouTube channel when that gets uploaded. Thank you so much, friends, for joining me. I hope you have an incredible day, and I look forward to seeing you next Thursday for our live. Bye, friends.